has something on the order in excess of 2,500 yards on the season. He, I'm sure, will be talking about a lot tonight.
Sure will. Sherman Williams, an outstanding player. Last year's quarterback for this Blount team, moved to tailback, and now he's using 4.3, 4.4 speed on the toss sweeps and the traps very effectively, piling up big yardage, 2,800 yards so far.
It'll be important for Homewood's outside linebackers to come out and contain that sweep. Stopping them from doing that trying to stop them from doing that will be a couple of guards, or at least one guard, two guards that the Blount team has. Chris Jones, 6'2", 330 pounds, 330, and Steve Blackman, 5'8", 230 pounds. A couple of big guys in the middle for Blount tonight. Blount comes into the game after a 12-2 season so far. They were ranked number 1 at the end of the regular season, and of course they won the Southern Division of the state championship. Homewood, with 13-1 record, of course, won the Northern Division, and that brings us to tonight here at Pritchard Stadium to play the Blount Leopards. Well, we'll be back with the opening kickoff after this from our sponsors. You're watching Homewood Patriot Football.
Southcrest Bank is pleased to support Homewood High School athletics and wishes the Patriot football team a winning season. Whether it's community service or quality service at one of our convenient offices, Southcrest Bank is working harder for you.
This fall, enter the Pepsi Bodacious Back-to-School Sweepstakes and win a free limo to and from school. It's Bo Jackson. School was never like this. Or a $1,000 shopping spree. School was never like this. And best of all, Pepsi will give the lucky winner up to $100,000 towards college. School was never like this. The Pepsi Bodacious Back-to-School Sweepstakes. School was never like this. Didn't I just say that? Enter the Pepsi Bodacious Back-to-School Sweepstakes.
So, when was the last time you were screened for cancer?
I don't think I've ever been screened for cancer.
And why not?
Never had the time.
And it only takes 2 hours at Princeton's new cancer screening center.
I never had the money.
It only costs $48.
I never had a reason.
Right, because it always happens to the other guy.
Guess I don't have an excuse.
I guess not.
These days, there's no reason not to get screened for cancer. Call us for an appointment.
Before I learned about lending money, I learned about respect. I grew up in a large family of 6 children, and my parents always tried to instill in us the importance of treating every person the way we'd like to be treated ourselves. I know what it's like to borrow money, because bankers are just like anybody else. We're humans too. Whenever a customer comes in to see me, I treat them like I'd like to be treated myself. When you come into our South to borrow money, you're doing us a favor, and we appreciate it.
Pritchard, Alabama, just outside of Mobile. Beautiful weather for a football game. We're here to watch the finals of the state 5A championship between the Homewood Patriots and the Blount Leopards.
The Blount Leopards, that's right.
Copeland, along with Brett Morris and our Homewood broadcast crew. We're out in the middle of the stadium tonight, and so it's going to be a little tough to hear. But we're delighted that you're with us. And as we've said almost every time so far this year, the only thing unfortunate about it from our standpoint is you already know the outcome of this game, and we don't. But we're fired up for a great game tonight as you watch the Homewood captains approach the center of the field for the toss of the coin.
Damon Southward, Chris Cowan, Jay Roberson, and Michael Flint heading to the center of the field. Alternate captains, number 73, Chris Lusko, Scott Hogue, Dwight Whalen, Eugene Oliver, and number 80, that's LaChant Weber. Alternate captains tonight for this 5A championship game.
Well, and as you can see, Blount's Leopards have put out just about the entire team as captains. I don't see anyone left on the field. We'll see if we can pick up the toss of the coin. We can tell you tonight that there is not only local media coverage here, but coverage from Birmingham in the form of one of the local television stations who has a satellite truck here. So we understand 4 stations are here tonight. 4 stations here covering. interesting, Fred Morrison, that as Homewood's team takes the field, you can hear the noise behind you. Interesting that Homewood's fans and supporters came down in a string of 11 Greyhound buses, and they have packed this side of Pritchard Stadium. Media estimates before the game were as many as 8,000 to 10,000 could be here tonight. I don't know that we're there yet, but we're awfully close.
Almost a capacity crowd. The Blount sideline or crowd filling up almost their entire side of the stadium, Pritchard Stadium. Homewood doing a good job of bringing their crowd 250 miles. From what I understand, they started making noise when they got to Alabaster and haven't stopped yet.
Haven't stopped since. I'll tell you something, you wouldn't think that a team would need to be fired up for a state championship, but in the locker room just before the game, Coach Mike Thorson got his defense aside. They've been so significant all year long. Coach Thorson reaches both hands in the pockets of his shorts. He obviously has his shorts on tonight. Pulls out 2 state championship rings, one in each hand, and says, boys, if you win it all tonight, I'll get you a state championship ring. You'll have to have a wheelbarrow to carry. They are fired up and ready to play this football game.
It'll be interesting to talk to Coach Thorson after the game, find out what he did the previous 4 playoff games, because so far this season, during the playoffs, Homewood's defense has given up an average of 9.8 points a game. For the first 3 games, they gave up 6 points to Irwin, 6 to Walter Wellborn, and 17 to Pell City. And last week's game against Fayette County was 21 points. But the defense has been doing a job.
Well, and they have had all year they've had to adjust on the run. This is never, we've not had a single game this year that I can think of that the defense had it in the bag all the way from the start. Coach Thorson's done an excellent job of changing that defensive alignment and making sure the boys know what looks they're getting from the opposing teams. Probably going to have to do that tonight. They're facing a heck of a good tailback in Sherman Williams. Number 1, he wears number 1. He played, quarterback last year.
Yes, he did.
So we'll watch for him. Their quarterback is Demeen Craig. He wears the number 16. We're just about set to kick it off here from Pritchard Stadium. Wes Steed a little bit healthier than he has been earlier. He's got some flexibility in those legs. Wes does the kicking. He'll kick off to Pritchard. Maurice Jackson deep now for Blount. It's all on the line, just outside of Mobile, and here we go. Towering kick comes down on the 1-yard line. Jackson up to the 20 and across the 20 and down at the 25.
Chris Cowan and Tamer Sabry.
Long stop by Chris Cowan and Tamer Sabry on the special team, the kickoff team.
Let's point that Chris Cowan has been playing on special teams all season long. Not an easy task when you're the center, having to play every offensive snap and still cover kicks as effectively as he's done.
A 22-yard return. The ball now on the 25-yard line. Blount sets it up, 1st and 10 from its own 25. This is the first series of downs in the state championship. Here's Demeen Craig. He holds, keeps right. Stopped at the 28. Southward on the stop. Damon the primary stopper on that play.
Damon Southward having an outstanding playoff series. The 4 games so far, Damon has been dominant in all 4. Team Irwin started out running away from Damon. The other teams, Pell City and Fayette County and Walter Wellborn, made the mistake of trying to neutralize him by running at him, and that has not worked as yet. Damon making a good play there.
Well, you know the defense has probably worked on the Sherman Williams story all week long. They've concentrated on the tailback, and it's just a matter of time before we see him with his first carry. He now second and about 8 for Blount. Here's the pitch to Sherman Williams. He fumbles. Almost recovered by Homewood.
Henry Wellborn.
Henry Wellborn playing Henry Wellborn. Henry in relief of the injured Scott Hogue, and Scott out for the year. Fell on the ball, and Homewood in business now right at the 20-yard line in the first big turnover.
Well, we knew when Blount came out, they would be probing this Homewood defense. They'd run the toss sweep, some traps. Unfortunately for Blount, they never got a chance to run those traps, dropping the ball in the backfield. Homewood's in business inside the 20-yard line.
All right, Whalen split to the left now. Roberson with a 1st and 10 from the 20. A lot of noise. Here's Robert Davis. Davis at the 20, 18, maybe the 18-yard line. Just as Homewood has concentrated on Sherman Williams all week, You can imagine who the Blount Leopards have been concentrating on in their practices.
Coach Ben Harris has been schooling his team on just straight-up physical football. They play a 4-4, sometimes a 5-3. They play a 3-deep secondary, and they dare you to throw the ball. They play a man-for-man coverage. Right now, all their efforts are being concentrated on stopping Robert Davis.
2nd and 8. Roberson looks to pass. Greer to the right, just overthrown. It'll bring up a 3rd and 8 now, as Homewood tests that secondary almost immediately to pull those linebackers out to the outside.
It's got to be something that Coach Newton, Bob Newton, feels that Homewood can exploit. Very few teams in high school football dare you to throw and play a straight man-for-man defensive coverage. Blount has the
You ought to end this thing as quickly and as quietly as possible. It's still a matter of this wood. You so much as look in my daughter's direction, they won't be able to identify you with dental records. Class action.
pound guard that Blount has been relying on all year long to make those plays.
Ball to Sherman Williams, finally brought down by Damon Southward, but only after good running. Lots of room there as he slipped 2 or 3 tackles, and that's plenty enough for a first down at the Blount Leopards 34. That time a little delayed draw. Just time to let that big line do its work.
Well, they are very good at getting 4 or 5 yards. Simply a surge of offensive bodies, especially the right side of that offensive line, just surging forward for 3, 4, 5 yards, and Williams does a good job of running in behind it.
Now Williams trying to get to the outside. Pursued, he gets away from Southward. Finally brought down after another first down gain by Henry Walburn. Don't see a flag. Damon Southward had him in his grasp, but he over-pursued just a little bit.
Damon over-pursued. Williams used that outstanding 4-4 speed to make a couple of Patriots miss, and then used good running ability to cut back, made Damon miss, and made a couple of other Patriots miss, and gained another Blount first down.
Well, that time Sumatra Johnson, who is their blocking fullback, lined up 2 double setbacks with Williams, provided a critical block. This time Williams straight up the gut, out to about the 49-yard line, followed a gain of 4. They'll bring up 2nd and 6. The clock still moving now with 7:41 remaining in the first period of play here at Blount High School.
If Homewood's at a disadvantage, it's defensively in the center of the defensive line. Michael Coggin, Eric Rebels aren't very big. They're not big guys as big linebackers go, and they don't match up that well with Blount's interior linemen.
This time Sumatra Johnson gets the call. He blasts out across the 45 into Homewood territory down at about the 43-yard line. Good for another first down.
Henry Walburn that time, the only thing between Sumatra Johnson and the goal line, Henry making a heads-up play to stop him for a gain of about 9 yards and another first down for Blount. This Homewood defense needs a stand right now, need a big play.
The ball on the far hash mark. It's 1st and 10 now. Blount moving from the Homewood 43. Man in motion to the right. It's going to be a dead ball foul. Going to be a flag on the play, so they'll bring it back. The man in motion was number 13, Alonzo Johnson, and I believe he turned into the line just a little early.
Alonzo got confused, probably had the count in his mind as he was coming across field. A little hesitation on the part of the quarterback possibly caused Alonzo to head toward the line of scrimmage prior to the snap of the ball.
That'll move it back, as you can see. Usually when the flag goes out before the ball is snapped, it's a dead ball foul. I guess it was in that case, but they let the play proceed.
It was unusual. You see quite a bit of unusual officiating in these playoff games.
Well, we did not get the names of the officials for you tonight, but I'm sure they're the best the state has to offer, this being a state championship game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether they do this the way they do in college, where they bring a certain number of officials from the northern region into the southern region, or whether they just get them all locally.
Now, these officials are from Dothan. They're from the southern region, but they are from a different area.
All right, first and about 6 now. Here's Damon Craig dropping back to pass. He's pressured, goes right, pressured by Stafford. He'll take it out of bounds. He's still on his feet. Now down after a big hit. I didn't see the number on who hit him. It was Elvin Skipper. Elvin hit him with a hard lick at about the 44 or 43-yard line. Go right into there. Damien Craig not willing to give up that time, even after the hard hit by Elvin Skipper, and he kept going for another 4 or 5 yards. Call it now 2nd and about 11.
But even on the previous play, Alonzo Johnson was hit several times and just refused to go down. Just hard running by these Blount running backs.
Brian Greer still stinging with an elbow problem, and it's hurting him tonight. There's no doubt about that. He's in right now, but it's hurting him. 2nd and 11. Here's Craig with a pass out to Sherman Williams. Williams with that blinding speed. He may be gone. See if Skipper can get him. No, touchdown, Blount. Man, he's fast.
A well-conceived play. Homewood coming with their rush. They set it up very well. The offensive lineman pulled out to the right. It was a single offensive lineman on this type of screen. He screened off Lee Thompson just enough for Sherman Williams to use that speed and straight up the middle.
43 yards. 43 yards from scrimmage. Sherman Williams living up to the rep that he has. Steve Blackman, the extra point attempt by Blackman. Kick is up, and the kick is good. Timeout on the field now with 5:18 remaining in the first quarter. And Blount strikes first blood and goes on top of Homewood by a score of 7-0. 7 plays covering 80 yards and running a significant 4 minutes off the clock. Blount really exercising excellent ball control and not stopped at all by the penalty.
They also used a very good combination of run and pass. And also, even the play that was called back, the flanker reverse, was effective. Even had he not gone toward the line, it was an effective play. And the combination of all of those plays works to the advantage of Blount, keeping Homewood's defense, which is very good at coming after the ball, somewhat on their heels. They're not quite sure how to pursue, which direction to pursue fully. Some discussion down at the 40-yard line as Steve Blackman waits to tee it up. Blackman does the extra point attempts, and we're assuming he'll do the kickoff as well. Well, that's a tough deficit to come back from, and it's early in the game. The main thing is that the guy's not getting the morale down. No, not at all. Play this game like it really is the state championship. Not at all. They have been behind before. They need some offensive productivity right now to give them some confidence. Blount's playing very, very enthusiastic football, very fired up. Going to be taken in by, I'm not sure who got it. Was it Robert that picked it up finally? Robert Davis. Davis finally picked it up. There was some indecision on the part, I think, of perhaps, was it Dan Adamson? Dan Adamson. At any rate, Robert picks it up, and that's the most important thing. We have possession of the ball. The line of scrimmage now about the 19-yard line. Only a 3-yard return that time. So it's a long 19. So they're going to get a delay of game call? Let's see if we can pick up the call. I don't have it at this point. No. An illegal procedure. Illegal procedure. Again, that stepping into the neutral zone will get you a 5-yard penalty in high school football. Well, that moves it back now. So 1st and 15, the line of scrimmage now about the 14-yard line, just shy of the 14-yard line.
So here's Homewood, 1st and 15. To give to the workhorse, Robert Davis. Robert's out almost to the 20. Comes down short at about the 18. Call it a gain of 4 now.
In a game this big for the 5A championship, Robert Davis needs to exert himself early in this game. Last week against Fayette County, they had some success, ran up a 17-6 halftime score, and Robert Davis was having an outstanding night. When Fayette came back and took the lead, you saw the real Robert Davis, enthusiastic, running hard, making people miss, and breaking tackles.
Big hit that time by Blount's number 84. We'll see if we can find the number for you. Well, we're struggling here, Fred. The reason is we've got a program without numbers on it, and I don't see 84 on the lineup. But a big defensive hit, and that stops them short of the 20-yard line, so call it no gain on the play, and 3rd and 10. Obvious passing situation, but Homewood still deep in their own territory. We're going to throw it, make it a pinpoint. Greer has it, but he's hit behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of about a yard will bring up 4th down. Homewood just bamboozled at this point.
Maurice Jackson that time, playing an outstanding cornerback. Reading that play shows that Blount has watched the films on Homewood also. Homewood has a tendency to go to that play to Brian Greer, try and pick up big yardage. That time, Blount having none of it. Make that Jackson, Maurice Jackson, smelling out that play.
Here's Jay's punt, and it's a good one. Comes down at the 50 and takes a good bounce, but Sherman Williams has it on the run. And got somebody head on down there. Michael Flint, I believe.
Chris Cowan.
Was it Cowan?
Chris Cowan.
I saw Flint in on it. A couple of good hard hits. Williams isn't afraid to stick his head in.
No, none of these Blount backs so far tonight have been afraid to stick that nose in there and go for the extra yardage. I guess that play typifies it. Chris Cowan meeting Sherman Williams head on, and Williams still gains 4 more yards. Michael Flint coming in to finish off the tackle.
A 40-yard punt by Jay Roberson that time. Here's 1st down. That time, Tamatra Johnson just over the center for maybe a yard. Blount mixing its play calling really, really well at this point. The gift to Johnson, the gift to Sherman Williams. The sweep, so far not using the pass very effectively. If they go to the pass, from what I've been told this week, they're dead in the water. They don't have much of a passing game.
They don't throw that often, but they do have some receivers that can catch it. Some receivers similar to Brian Greer can catch it when you throw it to them.
Well, that time Sherman Williams ran head on into Mr. Damon Southward. Southward playing on the right side of the Homewood defensive front, and the play was good for maybe another 2 yards. This really brings up the first critical 3rd down that Blount has faced in the game so far.
That's right.
Here we are just under 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. The first shot very little so far.
In running it, the first critical 3rd down of the game to this point. A big play here by Homewood gives them better field position than they started out with, due to the fact that Blount's kicking game is not that outstanding. Their extra points are fair, and their punting game is fair at best.
All right, 3rd and about 6 now. Demeen Craig with a long count. He rolls left, pursued. Lee Thompson pursued. The pass is complete. The pass is complete and easily a 1st down at about the 25-yard line. I think he was hit by Greer, but only after the pass had been completed. And here I am talking about them not having a passing game.
A classic example that time, number 87 in the flat, the only receiver out there, Michael Sampson. Quarterback Damian Craig put the ball right on the numbers. The only receiver there, Lee Thompson, coming on the blitz, just missing a sack of Craig.
Almost a minute now remaining in the first period. Here's Blount with yet another 1st down. This time the misdirection to Williams. He just fights off tacklers. Carries it down across the 10, almost up the 10, maybe just shy. He doesn't stop after being hit the 3rd time.
Not at all. A sign of a great running back. Spinning, twisting, making people miss, gaining extra yardage. After he's hit, so far tonight, after he's been hit, he's still managed to gain a couple of yards on those outside plays.
first down. The next first down would be inside the 3. Here's Sinatra Johnson right up the middle. Still won't go down. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was 42. I'm sorry.
Keith Scott.
Yeah, Keith Scott.
Keith Scott that time going in motion. Going in motion, setting up on the left side, and then receiving the handoff coming back on a misdirection play. And which is going to be the last play.
That's the end of the first quarter. We'll be back with more action from Pritchard Stadium in Mobile, Alabama, after this from our sponsors. You're watching Homewood Patriot Football.
At NTW, you'll always find the largest selection of quality brand tires at the lowest prices. At NTW, you'll find Michelin, Bridgestone, Dunlop, Pirelli, Goodyear, and many more. NTW also offers alignments, brake service, as well as shock and strut replacement using quality Monroe shocks. And NTW's expert service staff won't keep you waiting for hours because NTW believes in fast, quality service. NTW now in 3 Birmingham locations, Homewood, Roebuck, and now in Inverness.
Okay, last time. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Beginning of the second quarter is Pritchard 7 and Homewood nothing. We hope it stays that way, but they're threatening with no doubt about it. 2nd and 6 now. Sinatra Johnson across the goal line. Another touchdown for Blount. Well, Blount becoming an offensive machine so far, just grinding out the yardage.
So far tonight.
Quarter, they had 53 yards passing and 57 yards rushing. Total of 110 yards of total offense. Sherman Williams with 7 carries for 43 yards. Homewood with negative 3 yards, a loss of 3 yards in the passing department and only 4 yards rushing. Well, the extra point attempt is good on the pass, so they now go up by a score of 15-0. I don't think it was planned though, Fred, do you?
No, it looked as though it was a broken play. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, the kicking game for Blount High School is somewhat less than outstanding, so that's probably, it's one of those schools that probably practices more broken extra point plays. The fire type arrangement, all receivers flood the end zone because they'll have a better chance. Their kicking game is somewhat less than outstanding, and their coaches realize that. There was an example. The receiver went right where he needed to be, and Damian Craig knew right where to hit him.
Well, Davis has been a threat all season long to break a big one, and we sure do need that now. Homewood needs something to pump it up. They need some morale boost.
The danger in this situation, down 15-0 with only 4 seconds gone in the second quarter, is Blount, if they score again, then it could potentially be a bigger night for Blount, because the Homewood team just could go into a state of shock because no one has treated them this way all season long.
A 6-play drive resulting in a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. 3:03 off the clock. Oh, Blount in business again. I'm afraid we may have lost the ball down deep. We'll have to wait and see. Homewood does have the ball. They're going to be out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. Look like some indecision.
Difficulty in handling the ball. One of the byproducts of not having an outstanding kicking game. Sometimes Blount is not even sure where the kickoff's going to go. So as a deep receiver, Robert Davis, Brian Greer, Alexander Adamson really aren't sure where to position themselves. We know they haven't had a kickoff carry inside the 15-yard line yet. Unfortunately, they've been letting the ball hit the ground.
Okay, here's Jay Roberson with 1st and 10 from his own 5 to give to Davis. Davis out across the middle, up across the 19, maybe the 20-yard line. That's what he needs to do. Quick strike offensive running by Robert Davis, and we need some more of that.
Just good point of attack blocking that time by Chris Cowan, Steve Carpenter, Stanley Lee. Chris Lusko making an outstanding block, and Jonathan Hamaker doing a good job also.
Significantly, that's Homewood's first down of the game. First down of the game. And here we are in the second quarter. Roberson on the give to Davis. Davis out across the 30, 35, on his feet still. Up almost to midfield. That's the kind of running we need. It also brings the fans alive, and we need that.
That's right.
We didn't bring 11 buses worth of people down here to sit around.
That also puts the point across that Homewood is effective on offense. It tells Blount that, yes, we can run the ball effectively. Right there. Eric Moulton, a true freshman, running the ball straight up the middle on this tough Blount defense and gaining about 7.5 yards.
Beautiful, beautiful call. As Moulton takes on the duties now and moves the ball out across into Blount territory. So the Leopards are backing it up now, and they're beginning to wonder, well, maybe what we heard about Robert Davis was right all along. Here's second and a short and 4. The fake to Davis. Here's the pass. Yes, Van Adamson down at about the 34-yard line. Excellent fake that time by Jay Roberson. Blount now on the run backwards.
Outstanding offensive series so far for Homewood. Another first down or two. They need points. They need points badly. But even if they don't, they've established that they can be effective on offense. They're operating at a disadvantage right now, well, throughout the game, because Robert Davis is the running back. He is the backfield right now. The key to the play to Moulton was a big one because Blount did not expect it at all.
No question about it. Well, here's Davis again, and he's through across the 30 down inside the 28-yard line. Significantly, too, Fred, it's taken the Blount stands out of the game.
Yes.
They were a significant part of the game on their 2 offensive drives, and it has taken them a little bit out of the game and put Homewood back into it.
It also takes this Blount defense and makes a point to them that, hey, playing with reckless abandon could give up a touchdown.
Here's the fake to Moulton. Jay on the keeper around the right side. Jay still on his feet inside the 15-yard line. And he asks for his fans to give him a little help, and they do.
This is not the same Blount defense we saw when Homewood recovered the fumble on the Blount 20-yard line. They were playing with reckless abandon and going for the ball, just ball hawking. Right now, they're holding on, trying to make tackles, and Homewood is doing a good job, a very good job of running where Blount is not.
Now Homewood with a little timeout. They want to talk about it.
A good offensive series so far for Homewood. They've been doing it effectively on the ground. One pass to Alexander Adamson on a well-executed play. Play action by Jay Roberson rolling out on that particular play. Eric Moulton made a good block on the Blount defensive end in order to give Jay Roberson time to make that pass to Adamson.
Fred, what do you think? I mean, I know it's not our place to speculate, but with the team driving hard like they were, the momentum obviously in our favor, why do we call a timeout now?
Well,
make sure our signals are straight. We know what our strategy is.
Make sure the signals are straight. Make sure that everyone understands what's going to happen, what they want to accomplish. He may be setting up for some audibles at the line of scrimmage and wants to make sure everyone understands the signals. On the other hand, they're running, they're effective on offense. Blount sees a timeout, and they're not sure what to do to stop it. So it gives them time to think of what's happened, because just very few minutes ago, less than 3 minutes ago, Blount was up 15-0 and had the bull by the horns.
All right, here's Robert Davis. Davis down inside the 15, down to about the 11. Hard to see the spot at this angle. Maybe inside the 11, just short of the 10. Right at the 11.
Right at the 11-yard line.
Hey, about 3.5 on that. Call it second and a long, 7 down. Once defensive secondary gets to compress. Here's second and 7. Was it the give to Moulton?
Give to Moulton.
Give to Moulton, the first man through, and he stopped right at the line of scrimmage. This is the big play of the game so far for Homewood now, with about 3rd and 6. Jay has a signal from the bench.
Again, man-to-man coverage. the passing game has worked well. I'm not sure if the running game is something they will go with right now.
Roberson, the pass, he passes to Davis to the 10 and 5. And touchdown, Homewood! You can put 6 up on the board.
Could not get it out in time. The one play that Homewood has not run that often this year, but has been successful 5 out of the 6 times they've run it, or 99% of the time, is that flare pattern to Robert Davis. And that's one play. Blount will have to cover him with a linebacker if they cover him at all, because they play the man-to-man defense.
A little quick lateral out by Jay Roberson to Robert Davis, and Davis hit 2 or 3 times, keeps driving, and goes in for the score. Here now Wes Steed to attempt the extra point. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So with 8:23 remaining now in the first half, 8:23 remaining, the score now is Blount 15 and Homewood 7.
Outstanding drive. Outstanding drive.
If you'll recall, it started on our own 5-yard line. And on the strength of some quick strike, lightning-like runs by Robert Davis, and a brilliant offensive set of calls. They are mixing it up with Bolton on the run, Davis on the run. Homewood comes away with 7 points and is definitely now back in this football game.
That's right, and it's the danger before. This Blount Leopard team, they were playing like men possessed. They were up 15-0. Everything they did was working. Homewood, on the other hand, they were getting their kickoffs at the 5-yard line. Their offense wasn't gelling. The defense was giving up some big plays. Turn that around now. Homewood's effective on offense. Blount's defense knows they can give up the score. They just have, and it's a totally different ball game. As Wes Steed will re-tee the ball.
There's not much wind out here tonight, but the ball tipped over. Matter of fact, the climactic conditions for a football game in the middle of December couldn't be better as far as I'm concerned. That's right. Delightfully warm. You see folks in sweaters and light jackets out here, and Wes puts one up in the 3rd story, taken in on the 10-yard line by their number 15. That's Marcus Rogers. And Rogers with an excellent run back now to put Blount right back in this game at their own 40-yard line.
Blount is blessed with outstanding team speed. You've got Sherman Williams, you've got Craig at quarterback. That time Rogers just exhibiting great speed. Overall, there may be a faster team than Homewood.
A 9-play drive for Homewood's score. But quelled a little bit by a 31-yard return. Here now is Sherman Williams. Williams off right tackle, spins, still on his feet. Good 3-quarter runner. Into Homewood territory and down finally at the 42-yard line. Dusty Smith back there with him, but he runs over people.
Just an outstanding back. You'll see him at some college somewhere. His offensive linemen don't really need to give him a hole. All they need is a seam or a crease, and he'll be through it.
Well, I don't know if we're keeping stats on Sherman Williams tonight. I believe we are, and they're going to be impressive, whatever they are. Comes a man in motion to the left. Now that he's Craig on the pitch to Sherman Williams, I believe we're going to have a procedure penalty again. Problem with the legal procedure. Offside's actually the call. And so Blount moves it back 5 yards. Sherman Williams has 8 rushes now for 61 yards. Also 43 yards in receiving. So he has quite an offensive output going. He's an excellent player. And what did he have, Fred? Something on the order of, you said 2,800 yards on the
Almost
season.
Just a yard or two away from 2,900 yards this season.
What an output. Robert Davis, of course, before this game was 2,003 yards on the season. Davis a little bit ahead of Williams, though, in touchdown production, 32-29. Here now is Sherman Williams again, caught from behind. He'll go down at the 50-yard line.
Lee Thompson that time making an outstanding play.
Beautiful grab around the ankles, and that brings up 2nd and 18 now.
This defensive front playing better in this series than the previous two. Looks as though Michael Cowan, or make that Michael Coggin favoring an ankle of some sort.
Seems to me Jamie and Craig looking for receivers. Two on this side, across the middle.
Yes.
Intercepted by Brian Greer. Greer brings it back out to the 42, 43, 45-yard line. Eagle Eyes Brian Greer kicks one off in midair and puts Homewood back in the thick of it at their own 45-yard line, almost to 46 now.
Again, Brian Greer comes through with a big play, just playing center field. And Damian Craig looking his receiver all the way and just giving the play away.
With the pass a foot or two higher, he might have had a man open for a touchdown. A 15-yard return that time, and we've got the line of scrimmage at the 46. Roberson on the give to Davis. Robert comes right, outside, across the 50, 40, into Leopard territory, down to the 38-yard line. Fred, I'll tell you something. I don't know how it's going to come out, but we are privileged to be watching these two tailbacks tonight. They are fine, fine high school athletes.
Two outstanding running backs. Sherman Williams, just a different type of runner. But Robert Davis, a more powerful runner than a Sherman Williams. But Sherman will he'll stick that head in there and make the extra tough 2 yards.
Line of scrimmage to 39 now. 1st and 10 Homewood. Here's the give to Davis again. Down to about the 35. Tough, hard running. Interestingly enough, you'll notice Sherman Williams plays both ways for Blount.
He does. The only Blount player that does that. They are very deep.
He is a strong kid.
I hate to even say anything about it. I don't want to jinx it, and as superstitious as some of the folks on this Homewood squad are, watch the offensive line surge right now. On the previous play, they got a good 2 to 3 yard surge against this really a physically larger Blount team.
Here's Moulton keeping out across almost to the 30-yard line. Hit hard that time, but a good run by Eric Moulton as he continues to be called on to take some of the pressure off of Robert Davis.
And you got to like the way he covers up the ball that time. Both hands on the ball. He was in the open and didn't know it. He had such a tight grip on the ball and still managed to pick up 3 or 4 yards. But again,
a freshman, right?
A true freshman. But again, the line surge. This offensive line for Homewood is actually getting the better of Blount at this time, and it started in this second quarter.
Robert Davis now 10 carries for 78 yards. Jay Roberson on the keeper crosses the 30 and down to about the 28. I believe he's got enough, Fred. We'll have to see.
If they give him a good spot, it looks as though he will have it. They've got
First down, Homewood, the change can move again. Homewood on the move now. And Drzeski comes into the game, Southwood coming out. Whalen splits wide to the left, also Adamson. Andrzejewski wide to the right. Here's 1st and 10 now. From the 28, the give to Davis off left tackle. He's down to about the 25.
That time the stop made by Damon Purifoy, one of the big hitters on this Leopard defense. Damon Purifoy, highly thought of here in the southern region. Outstanding defensive player.
6'2", 290 according to the program. All right, 2nd and 8 now after a gain of 2. Here's Jay Roberson. He looks to pass. Tip. Oh, my goodness gracious. Into and out of the hands of their number 54, Blount's number 54, and I don't think we've got him on the roster. That's called dodging a bullet.
It sure is. I thought Robert had a chance to catch it even after it was tipped a second time.
Okay, Homewood with a possession down now, 3rd and about 7. 3:35 remaining in the half. Homewood needs to score. Pressured. Roberson to pass across the middle. A catch by Brian Greer. Whoa, what a catch. Talk about it.
Big league catch by Brian Greer. Couldn't have come at a better time.
Well, double defended. Double coverage on Brian Greer. And Jay Roberson really threaded a needle that time.
But again, he had the time to do it. He had the time to stand back there and let his receiver, Greer, uncover. Even with double coverage, he put it right on the numbers, and an outstanding catch.
The ball just outside the 10. Here's the pitch to Robert Davis, and he stopped shy of the 10-yard line. Good pursuit by Sherman Williams and others out on the right side of that Homewood line. Bring up 2nd and 10. There is a first down possible, but it's just inside the 1.
Just too many bodies that time for Homewood to get around the corner. And again, Sherman Williams out there provided the speed necessary to cut off the corner.
The clock potentially a factor now. 2:50 remaining in the half. Well, both sides of the stadium are into the game.
Homewood can run it down to halftime, and even if they don't score, they won't have to worry about playing a defense because they can leave it right on the goal line if they don't score.
Here's Davis down. Forward progress maybe at the 6. Play brings up 3rd and 5 now. Each down, a critical down now.
Big play. Do you risk the pass to Robert Davis again, or do you go with your hot receiver? So far, it's been Brian Greer.
It's a decision the coaches have made. Here it is, 3rd and 5. The give to Davis, misdirection. Davis to the 2, to 3 maybe. Maybe 4th and 2.
Wes Steed's moving up next to Coach Gann right now.
Clock still runs. 1:54, 3, 2 remaining. Here comes Steed and the kicking team.
Interesting. Will they let the clock run all the way down, or they'll call a timeout? Jay Roberson looking it over.
Well, the better part of wisdom to call the timeout and make sure we don't have a delay of game penalty or anything.
Well, I was thinking about that, and 5 yards from the 3-yard line probably won't make that much difference to Wes. And my thinking at this point is let the clock run down as much as possible and not give Blount an opportunity to handle the ball for any length of time after you score the field goal or the touchdown.
True.
Now, I'm not really sure if they're still convinced they're going to kick the field goal. Coach going out to talk to the players. Jay Roberson stays on the field as the holder.
Coach Rick Harmon out there to talk. You would think, as you just mentioned, Fred, that the field goal from this distance is almost a guarantee. That's not an issue. The distance is not an issue. But at this point, Steed's still on the field. Robert Davis is off and on the sideline. With the field goal, it becomes 15-10. Homewood goes in just a 5-point deficit.
Now, they could be, one of the attempts by Homewood could be to draw Blount off sides. If they could get the ball moved half the distance, that might possibly give them a first down.
That's what they're doing, Fred. An attempt to draw Blount off sides, and they are like statues. Well, it was a smart play, though, to shift by Homewood into a crazy situation with Jay barking those signals out as loudly as he could. That puts him back 5 yards, but that's no loss. Wes can kick it from there with no problem at all.
Interesting. I'm not sure that what would be the odds if Robert Davis was still in the game? Jay Roberson was standing behind center, and Robert Davis went in motion. Probably a couple of Blount players would move on that one.
Yes.
I was just curious as to go out of the field goal lineup.
Now the tee is on the 15-yard line, so it'd be a 25-yard field goal. Wes with one step. The kick is up, and the kick is good. That stops the clock with 1:27 remaining in the half, and Homewood now trails by 5. The timeout on the field, the score is Blount 15 and Homewood 10. Now the duty becomes, let's shut down the Blount offense for a minute 27 and go into the halftime and talk about how to come back in the second half.
Let's stop them on this kickoff. Primarily, Sherman Williams and also his deep help back there. Some outstanding speed backs. Remember, the one kickoff they've run back so far tonight, they ran back all the way to the Homewood 45-yard line.
As we indicated earlier, a lot of media coverage here tonight. Heavy attention being paid to this state championship game by the Birmingham media, certainly. We see microwave antennas and satellite dishes literally all dotted around the stadium here. Steed again will kick it off for Homewood. Give you some stats here on the Homewood drive. 10 plays, covering 54 yards, taking 4:57 off the clock. Best kicks a low one. The burn along the ground. A good return by their number 15 up to about the 36 or 37 yard line. We'd love to give you his name, but there it is, Marcus Rogers. Thanks, Fred. I didn't see it. Okay, contain now becomes the order of the day.
Sure does.
And Adamson, Brian Greer, and Elvin Skipper dropping back maybe 15 yards or more off that ball. Clock running now, 1:09 remaining in the half. Here's Blount to give to their franchise. Sherman Williams pursued outside. He gets around two tacklers, but not around Michael Flint.
The tables are reversed. Last week at Fayette County, the one thing Fayette didn't want to give up was a big play just before half. Robert Davis goes 68 yards. Tonight, Homewood is in that position. They don't want to give up a big play, yet Blount is talented enough to do just that. Right now, they're at their own 44-yard line, but with Sherman Williams, anything could happen.
Well, with timeout on the field now, I would guess that the Homewood coach's message is going to be, let's contain. We will have performances by both bands at halftime, but I'll tell you the truth, Fred, after the trouble I got into last week, I'm going to say right now that if the band, we're in the visitor stands with this broadcast, and if the band is facing the other direction, we're just not going to broadcast the halftime performance because you'll be looking at everyone's back all night long. Right. If the band is headed this way, well, then we'll have the band performance at halftime. It looks like, from the way they're lining up, that they will face the other way. If that's the case, we'll break for a commercial message at the half, and then we'll be back with second half action shortly. Right now, the important thing is let's get into that locker room with just a 5-point deficit.
That's right. Again, not a time for a letdown of any kind. This Blount team can score from 55 yards away, and Homewood needs to shut them out.
Sherman Williams will pass on a tailback pass. He gives it all he's got. We've got a man out there, but it's incomplete. No flag on the play that I can see.
Alexander Adams.
And Adamson with great coverage.
Saved a touchdown.
Sherman Williams tonight, before that pass, had 10 rushes for 65 yards. Robert Davis with 14 carries for 88 yards. Davis has a total of 98 yards of total offense, and Williams 108 yards. Those two guys are slugging it out in the stat category tonight.
That is the third halfback pass that Sherman Williams has thrown in as many weeks. He throws at least one halfback pass every game, and the only thing that saved Homewood that time is Alexander Adamson's just incredible effort to get back into the play because he was beaten deep, and he got back into the play.
Man in motion to the right now. Third and short is the call. Sherman Williams again. This time he won't throw. He'll keep. Rebels missed him from behind. Walburn can't get him. No one's going to get him. That's what we didn't want to have happen with 23 seconds remaining. Sherman Williams stings Homewood. I don't see any flags.
I'm looking. I'm still looking. I'm hoping for one.
Wow, self-fulfilling prophecy. 55 yards from scrimmage for a touchdown with only 23 seconds remaining in the half. Here's Steve Blackman's kick, and it's good. 22-10 now the score. 22-10 as Blount really stings Homewood.
They sure did. The one thing they didn't want to happen, Sherman Sherman Williams made happen.
Sherman Williams
I'm thinking of another guy. I'm thinking of another one. Regardless, Sherman Williams covered Homewood that time. Just a simple toss sweep and cut it back. And again, using those large linemen to screen. And Homewood unable to come off of the blocks as easily as they had in other games because the linemen are so big, simply cut it back and used his speed. And you got it. Your heart goes out for Alexander Adamson. He gave it everything he possibly had to get over there and just miss.
Just couldn't catch him. Rebels had a hand on him, and he's just so fast he got away from the ball. Well, we've got some catching up to do. Their drive covered 10 plays, but the most significant one was the last one, a 55-yard touchdown run from scrimmage, and 7 points on the board for Blount. Williams now 11 carries for 120 yards on the night. Big kick by Steve Blackman. Skipper has it at the 8. Skipper coming across the 20, 30. Dodges a man and jumps out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. 16 seconds remaining now in the half. Homewood will have a couple of chances to throw it up.
So far, a very exciting game. Even though the score is 22-10 Blount, you get the feeling Homewood's not out of it because they're only one play away from being right back in it. And with the type of talent they have offensively, it could happen at any time.
Roberson will pass with a penalty play, complete to Greer and out of bounds at the 49, 50-yard line. See what kind of penalty we have. It's in the backfield, also one on the line. There'll be too many men on the field.
Talking to the Homewood captain.
Seconds now remaining. The penalty will go against Blount. It was at the 49. They have declined the penalty. So Homewood with a first down at the 50, and they're ready to go up at the line. The minute the clock starts, Homewood is ready to go. Coach Bob Newton asking now Coach Gerald Gann, do we want a timeout here?
Looks as though Blount's taking a timeout to regroup.
Thinking of buying or selling a home? Wondering what a realtor can do for you? Think VIP Realty, the oldest active residential real estate company in Homewood. Since we've served the Homewood-Birmingham area for 2 decades, we have the experience to provide you with complete guidance on the sale or purchase of a home. Plus, we're quick to respond from our centrally located Homewood office. And we give all our clients the VIP treatment. So what can a realtor do for you? A lot, especially if it's VIP Realty in Homewood.
Seconds to go in the half. Homewood trying to come up with a play, or looking in their playbook for a play that will get them 50 yards and a touchdown in 12 seconds or less.
All right, Coach Newton comes off the field. Homewood now knowing what it has to do. They send Whalen and Adamson wide to the right. Greer to the left. Jay Roberson will pass. Flags fly. Penalty before the ball was snapped at that point. 1 second went off the clock. If that's the case, they need to add it back. That's a dead ball foul. We just lost a second.
unusual.
First and 15 with a happy trigger finger on the clock operator there. Jay Roberson will pass, pressured from behind. He throws all he's got. Well overthrown. 2-3 feet over Zan Adamson's head. 5 seconds remaining now. We'll have time for one more.
Number 19, Clarence Abrams into the game for Blount, now playing a deep safety, standing right at the 12-yard line.
Well, here's the give to Davis. Davis threads his way around. Don't get hurt, Robert. Don't get hurt. Okay. The time is out now. That's the end of the first half of play. The timeout here at Blount Stadium. The score is Blount 22 and Homewood 10. We'll be back with more action from Pritchard Stadium after this from your sponsors. You're watching Homewood Patriot football. Homewood with 48, Blount with 56. So total offense looks like this so far. Homewood with 176 and Blount with 199. Definitely, we're still in the ballgame.
Without a doubt. They came out. Homewood actually controlled the entire second quarter, driving the field from their own 5-yard line, scoring a touchdown, and then coming back and getting 3 points when they actually had the ball on the 3-yard line. The nail in the coffin, if you will, for the first half was the 55-yard run by Sherman Williams with less than 30 seconds to go in the half. As you said, without that run and those points, it's a 15-10 ball game, and the statistics are actually slightly in Homewood's favor. Just one play, and the coaches dwell on this, one play can change the outcome of a game, and that one has sure added a different complexion to this one. But Homewood is not out of the game by any means. Again, their offensive line is getting good line surge. Eric Moulton, a true freshman, is gaining yardage from the fullback position. Jay Roberson's running well, and Robert Davis is running as he always does, 99 yards in the first half.
Well, as we were talking during the halftime, and we're glad we were able to bring you a performance of the Homewood Band at the halftime. They did perform to this side of the field, so we're glad to be able to do that. The key to this game is going to be who scores first in the second half. If Homewood can come and assert itself with 7 points on the scoreboard, they're back in the game, and I think they're back in the game to stay. At the half, the coaches told the boys in the locker room, you got to turn it up a notch. This is, after all, the state championship, and if you're here to win, now's the time to do it.
That's right. That's right. The only thing that really gave them problems in the first half, the hard running of Sherman Williams, coupled with, don't call it shoddy tackling because there was not a single Patriot out there not giving it his all. They simply weren't locking up on many of those big plays that Williams turned in. And on that type of running back with that type of talent, coaches say you got to put a hit on him and you got to lock up because he will bounce off of that hit and with great balance keep churning forward, which he did in the first half.
Oh, and he did it so magnificently, too. He's a fine young tailback. And it's a cinch, I guess, Fred, to say that we'll see a lot more of him before his football career is over.
At halftime, several of the people, Blount supporters walking by, talking, a lot of conversations going on. The one thing that came up in just about every conversation was the fact that Sherman Williams is not the type of running back that will have a good half and then go into a deep sleep. They say he actually gets stronger and better as the game progresses, much like Robert Davis.
Well, the field is in excellent condition. The weather is in good shape. We're ready for a second half of football, and Homewood will take the ball. We will receive.
They've moved Robert Davis on the receiving team over to try and put him in better position to catch this kickoff. They've also brought their deep receivers up to about the 12-yard line. Blount has been kicking off short most of the night except for the final kickoff.
Steve Blackman puts his toe into it, and as you might expect, it comes down to the left. Delvin Skipper has it at the 8. Skipper to the 15, 20, 25, still on his feet to the 30, 32-yard line. Excellent run back by Elvin Skipper. Let's don't start it in a deep hole.
No. Much like the kickoff after Williams scored on his 55-yard run, Blount kicking to the left side of the field, trying to keep it away from Brian Greer and Robert Davis. Elvin Skipper making them pay for that decision, and has two good run backs, both out past the 30-yard line.
All right, Homewood now with the ball at their own 32-yard line, 1st and 10. Jay Roberson with a long count. He gives to Davis. Davis out across the 40, to the 45, 50. He may be gone. Caught from behind by their number 84. It's the first time all season that I've seen someone catch him from behind. He's down at the 25-yard line. Boy, he's got a quick strike capability. We've seen it all year long, and there again it manifests itself as Davis puts Homewood in big-time business at the 25-yard line of Blount.
That time, Clarence Abrams, number 19, in the ball game, actually maintained his distance with Robert Davis, matching him stride for stride, was able to trip him up slightly, or he never would have been caught.
Here's 1st and 10 now. The line of scrimmage, the 25. Hard going over the middle, inside that Blount defensive front.
Eric Rebel's in the game right now at a fullback. They've replaced Eric Moulton at the start of this second half, where they call him a more battle-tested back. Eric Rebel's in at fullback, getting his first carry of the evening, gaining 3 yards there, setting up a 2nd and a 7.
If you've just joined us, it's 22-10 from Blount High School in Pritchard. Here's a pass over the middle. Zan Adamson fires! Touchdown! Now we're back in business. Zan Adamson all year long, what a threat he's been.
Beautifully thrown play, beautifully executed. There it is. The man-for-man defense can get you burned. With Brian Greer to contend with and Adamson on the same side, but it's a double threat. Adamson made them pay then.
Wes Steed to kick it. Here's the snap. The kick is up. The kick is oh so good. 10:35 remaining in the third period. Blount 22. Now Homewood 17. Back to the 5-point deficit. Time for the defense to come alive.
defense has to enter the field, has to come on the field now with a greater degree of confidence. The offense simply took the ball and marched down the field. Huge chunks that time. Robert Davis with a big run, but the pass to Adamson, seemingly all alone on the pattern, a slight post pattern, not even a severe post, but he was all by himself, no one near him.
3 quick plays, 67 yards for the score, with 10:35 remaining in the third period. Homewood now coming alive.
Has the makings of an offensive shootout, there's no doubt about it.
Weststeed puts his toe into it. It'll come down on the 5. Brought down by Elvin Skipper, Eric Rebels, Tamer Sabry in on the stop 2. That was their number 24. No. Roy Franklin. Yeah, they're number 24. Folks, we apologize for the slowness with these numbers, but they're not in order, and we're having to scramble for them. Well, the word from the sidelines is that D is ready. We'll see. Here's Demeen Craig, 1st and 10. Now the line of scrimmage is your 26. Fumble on the snap. Also a penalty flag is down. Back judge threw the flag first. Homewood coaching staff seems to be certain that it's on Blount. Illegal procedure is the call. That'll move it back 5. 1st and 15 now. The line of scrimmage will be the 21. We get Blount work itself into a hole not only on the field but mentally. We can come back.
That's right. The further back they're pushed, penalties, losses, whatever, that'll work in Homewood's favor because, as I said, their kicking game is not outstanding.
Here's the gift to number 1, Sherman Williams, on a missed handoff, but he's got speed around the right side. Finally brought down, but I believe he's got his first down. It's going to be close. Depends on the mark.
Depends on the spot.
First down might be about the 36.
Looks to be short by about maybe less than a yard.
No indication yet. They call it 2nd and 1 now.
A busted play. A busted play. Craig running into Williams in the backfield. Williams able to use that speed and get outside.
He did that on the 55-yard score with 23 seconds remaining in the half. Here now the quarterback, Demeen Craig, on a keeper, and he gets across midfield right at the 49-yard line of Homewood. A packed Pritchard Stadium in Pritchard, Alabama, as the Blount Leopards and the Homewood Patriots duke it out for the state championship. This one gets you the title, the trophy, and a big old ring, as they said before the game. 9 minutes remaining in the third period. Here's Craig, and a give to Sherman Williams on the misguided play again. He's still on his feet. This time they bring him down. You know, that handoff from Craig to Williams now 4 or 5 times has been real close, and it's almost like they don't know what they're doing with it. And all of a sudden he's out around the end. That's right, for large yardage. That time we penetrated that line. Well, with the linemen they've got, they can pretty much do what they want in the backfield for a few seconds, and that time we penetrated the line and stopped him. 2nd and 10 now. Classic example why Coach Thorson wants the defense to lock up. That time Williams taking 2 or 3 hits and still on his feet. Okay, the line of scrimmage now to 45. Here's the give to Williams. He's dancing, running. Gosh, he's got capability, the likes of which I don't think we've seen on an opposing team this year. They're just the handoff that time. Craig giving him the handoff, just allowing Williams to find the open spot. And as you say, with those huge offensive linemen, he's got a second or so to be able to pick his run to daylight. That time, gaining a first down for Blount. 11 yards that time. The line of scrimmage now, Homewood's 44. Time is out for Blount. Confusion in the backfield. Craig doing the smart thing, calling a timeout and trying to get things straight because this is a big drive for Blount. You see the defensive team there on the sideline. Coach Thorson out talking to some of them. So far they've done an outstanding job.
containing this Blount offense, making them work for everything they've gotten. Again, Coach Thorson will reiterate, lock up on these leopard backs. These are the kind of guys that if you hit them, you may hit them a good shot, but they have excellent balance, and they may just bounce off of you, regain their balance, and go the distance.
Yeah, it's it's interesting that there was a great article in one of the papers this week, a little bit of a depth piece, if you will, about Coach Gerald Gann's philosophy of football, and it is stick to your knitting. It's stay with the basics, basic blocking, basic tackling, and I think that's what Homewood's got to go through tonight. Put your bonnet in them and push.
That's right.
Lock up on them.
Straight ahead football.
Okay, 1st and 10 now. The line of scrimmage is the Homewood 44. Here's Demeen Craig with a pitch out to Sherman Williams. Williams with running room. That time brought down after a gain of about 4, maybe. A long 4. Call it 2nd and 5 now.
Blount's doing a good job of sealing the inside on those toss sweeps. That time, you see Elvin Skipper out there making the tackle along with Lee Thompson in pursuit. But Jonathan Hamaker and the inside people, Michael Coggin, Eric Rebels, some of those guys are getting walled off by that Blount offensive line. And the offensive line for Blount's doing a good job of just that, walling off some people, allowing others to pursue. Williams is cutting back to the open area.
Here's 2nd and 5 now. Sherman Williams on that play. This time he'll be caught from behind. Flags blew, I believe, Fred. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'm seeing things.
I believe there is a flag on the play. Looks as though it might be holding against Blount.
Sherman Williams now with 146 yards in the game. Robert Davis with 141. So they're duking it out in the statistics category for total yardage tonight.
You know, an interesting aspect to the way Sherman Williams runs. He runs and you hit him, and someone has their hands on him, has a hold of Sherman Williams, and he seems to pause. And there's a pause in his running style, and then all of a sudden he breaks free and he's gone again, like almost a stop-and-go action. And watching it on the screen and possibly in the stands, a lot of people aren't sure if the play is still underway.
And I think the players feel that way too. Maybe there's that momentary relaxation that this play is over.
Right.
He's still on his feet. The knee hasn't touched the ground. The ball's still in play. And he has made big yardage on that tonight.
That's right.
Well, a clipping penalty takes it back now. It is now 2nd and about 22, 21. So Demeen Craig will go back for the pass. Receivers open short, but Craig will run. He's brought down at the 45-yard line after a gain of only 3. Craig had open receivers that time. He just didn't see them. They were to the left.
Well, that time, Elvin Skipper did a good job, and Brian Greer and Alexander Adamson on this wide side of the field did a good job. They weren't necessarily that close to the receivers, but they were in the passing lanes. They were right there in the lanes should Craig decide to throw it.
Alonzo Johnson that time was halfway to Mobile. All right, 3rd and about 21 now. Craig will obviously go back to pass. He has a receiver open at the 40, but he's brought down at about the 43-yard line. So that brings up 4th and a good 8.
We have another flag on the play, back at about the 45-yard line. Officials talking it over.
Key set of downs here because this could determine field position for Homewood should Blount give up the ball.
Flag was thrown behind the line of scrimmage. They're waving off the flag.
No penalty. Guess you have to take their word for that, don't you? All right, Robert Davis is the lone drop back. Davis will stand back on his own 12. This is the first punt we've seen from Blount for the game. A high pass from Sid. Blocked! Michael Coggin falls on the ball. Michael Flynn, falls on the ball. You know, they saw it all the way. A big pileup. The official on the middle of the field is indicating Homewood ball.
could not be any other way. Eric Rebels, Lee Thompson, everyone coming up the middle. Obviously, they watch their films very closely, and as I said before, the Blount kicking game is nothing to write home about, and the rainbow snap from center was tailor-made for a block punt. The only bad part of that whole play was the fact they could not pick up the ball and advance it.
Right. All right, Homewood with excellent field position. Now the line of scrimmage is the 38-yard line. Here's Jay Roberson on the 1st and 10 with a gift to Moulton. Moulton down across the 35 to about the 34. Good straight-ahead yardage by the young freshman, Eric Moulton. Called into duty late in the season. They're cleaning some dirt off his face mask, I believe. Robert Davis helping him out with it. Maybe Robert's had a little dirt on his helmet this year. What do you think? Well, 2nd and about 6 now. Here's the give to Davis. Davis down shy of the 30, so the game may be only a yard or two. 5:20 now remaining in the 3rd period. Homewood's down by 5, 22-17, but they're coming back.
Something that might work into the Homewood's favor right now. On the previous play, number 79, Damon Purifoy, the all-star defensive lineman for Blount, went out of the game.
All right, here's Jay Roberson, gives it straight ahead to Eric Moulton, but no going. There'll be a loss on the play. Okay, the ball is just shy of the, it's on about the 31 now.
4th and 4, looks as though Homewood will go for it.
4th and maybe 4. Homewood will go for it. A big offensive test for the Patriots. Here's the give to Davis, straight ahead. It remains unseen. I don't know whether he got it or not.
It's all going to depend on the spot.
Looks like it's going to be short. Homewood electing to try it, giving Blount field position.
I believe they will bring in the measure, the change to measure, but it looks as though from the spot it may well be short. We'll be able to tell by the crowd reaction in just about 10 seconds or so. Yes.
Oh, well short. Short by a couple of feet. Robert's upset about that, but he gave it his best. Robert Davis very upset about that. He feels perhaps it got shorted on that spot a little bit. Now time for the defense to reassert itself. 4:20 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Blount's line of scrimmage now, they're 29. That's the give to Tomutra Johnson, the big fullback, straight ahead. Johnson with 1st down yardage.
Simply running behind those horses on the left side of the line, using Williams that time as the decoy. The defense closing in on Williams. Johnson able to pick up 11 yards and a 1st down.
And the 42-yard line, now the line of scrimmage after that big gain by Tomutra Johnson. Defense needs to stiffen here. This time the give to Johnson goes awry. Hit behind the line. Big hit by the Homewood defensive left side.
There's really only one way to play a team with running backs that run as hard as these guys do. The first man simply has to grab on for dear life, and the rest of the guys have to fly to the ball and just swarm to the ball and just deliver hits as soon as they get there. That time you saw 3 guys on him. Lee Thompson giving him a wicked shot, and still he gets back to the line of scrimmage or loses only 1.
2nd and 12. Here's Sherman Williams. He slips, still on his feet, still running. I believe Thompson got him again that time, or was it Coggin? It was Michael Coggin who got him for good that time, but not before Sherman Williams moves the ball up, giving Blount now a 3rd and 5, a critical 3rd down play for Homewood. The defense has to stiffen here. You think they might go to the franchise. And indeed, they fake. Craig will pass. Way overthrown in and out of the hands. Oh, my goodness.
Elvin Skipper had it as he was going down, and the ground jarred it loose.
In and out of the hands of their intended receiver and in and out of the hands of Elvin Skipper. Well, a good defensive stand, though, by the guys for Homewood.
And again, it brings up fourth down, and you know the Homewood coaches have to be deciding, do we go after another one? And that center and corner have to be thinking the same thing.
The scouting report is they do not have a snapper. The clock stops now with 2:31 remaining in the third period. Good point. Mike Whitten, our spotter here in the stands, makes the point that their kicker is 17, almost 18 yards off the ball. We'll watch the snap. A high floater coming back. Rushed again. Floating punt. They're going to let it go. And it'll roll dead at the 21-yard line. All right, Homewood using a little wisdom there, saying, let's let this thing roll. Come away from this clean, and we'll start another offensive set. Ball on the 21-yard line now.
It seems like a long time ago, but it was really only the start of the third quarter when they opened with a three-play drive to bring the score 22-17. That's what they need now. Another offensive drive.
Over Chris Cowan. The pitch to Davis. Davis out across the 25, at 30, 31 maybe. Good running. It looks like first down yardage. Good blocking that time by Stanley Lee. Steve Carpenter. Jason Zarzar in the game now.
That's right. Coach Gann using some fresh players. He knows this game should come down to a late fourth quarter game. Whoever's the freshest and whoever makes the least errors going into the fourth quarter will have the leg up in this one. Right there you see a first down by Robert Davis, making Blount pay for what he felt was a bad spot on the previous possession. That time making people miss tackles, driving through them, and getting 10.5 yards, enough for a first down.
Well, Fred, as you said earlier, Robert's got to assert himself, and so far he has in this game. He could be the critical difference. Here's another first down. The line of scrimmage to 31. Give this time to the first man through, and that's Eric Rebels playing in the fullback spot. Rebels just with some hard ground gaining yardage out to about the 34-yard line. Davis now with 155 yards on the night, and Sherman Williams with 157.
Second down and a little more than 5 yards, call it 6. Homewood in a position to run or throw.
All right, Davis on the pitch out, around left end. Robert out across the 30-40 to the 45 and thrown down out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. Another first down for the Patriots. The change move again. The key to that play was the play before it. Eric Rebel was able to pick up 5.5 yards on first down, and in the second down, Blount wasn't sure whether Roberson would use play action or actually give it to Robert Davis. That's the type of situation the Homewood offensive coaches want. They want to keep Blount guessing. It neutralizes their size superiority on the line. They can't just tee off and go after Roberson. From the 47, here's Robert Davis. He's hit hard at the 47 and wrestled down, finally down. For Homewood fans, what a late hit call.
It sure looked as though that referee walking up to the play had his hand on his flag, though. It looked like he was reaching for it. Sure did. He was reaching for that flag.
Well, in that particular case, the whistles blew a good 2 or 3 seconds before Robert was thrown down. That one's history. On to the next play. Second down and 10. Here's the fake to Davis. Roberson to pass. Pressured. Greer has it. And a penalty flag flies. 3 penalties fly. Goodness gracious. Another magnificent catch from Brian Greer. Greer indicates somebody had his face mask, I believe. Oh, if we just had our instant replay camera, right? Hats off tonight to Dave Rothoff and Jack Munger Homewood High School broadcast crew down to 2 tonight. But we're delighted to be here and be able to bring you the replay of this exciting championship game.
Sure, and it has been everything. Exciting. Long plays, short plays, lots of power football. There you see the call. Face mask on Blount.
Boy, good field position now with only 5 seconds remaining in the quarter. Homewood now with the ball at the Blount Leopard 24-yard line, 1st and 10.
If Homewood scores now or early in the fourth quarter, the momentum will be with Homewood. And it looks like they will have to score in the fourth quarter because the third quarter has come to an end.
The clock runs out. They'll change sides of the field with timeout on the field. It's Blount 22 and Homewood 17. You're watching Homewood Patriot football.
You look, Mom. Healthy?
Picture of I am alive.
Ever been screened for cancer?
No.
Why?
Busy.
You got 2 hours.
Got 2 hours.
Got $48.
Got $48.
It's a date.
Where?
Princeton's Cancer Screening Center.
Oh, you buy it?
It's my treat.
I'll get dinner.
These days, there's no reason not to get screened for cancer. Call us for an appointment.
He has 4 fingers in the air as we start the fourth quarter here from Pritchard. All the Homewood fans are on their feet. They've been standing for some time now. Let's set down a distance. 1st and 10. Homewood from its own 22. Pitch out to Davis. He grabs it. Woo! He just fell down and a flag flew in somebody's face. We don't know what that might be. We'll have to see. Blount indicating the penalty will go against Homewood. Oh, we don't need that to set us back right now.
No, a very, very late flag. Robert Davis was already on the ground when that flag came out. Could be a
Big mark off, though. A full 15 yards.
blocking below the waist, below the knees.
The illegal block. No, he has signaled a clip. All right, that sets it up now. 1st and about 22. Here's Roberson. He fakes to Davis. Needs blocking. Passes all he's got. Oh, just out of the hands of Zan Adamson. My goodness. Just out of the hands of Alexander Adamson. Dan had a step on the defender. He had a step and the pass was just slightly overthrown. Well,
that brings up the 2nd and 20. Homewood now has to concentrate on getting their first down. 2 plays. You can't try and pick it up all at once. They need to peck, hit and peck, hunt and peck, gain some yardage, gain anywhere from 9 to 11 yards, and then to put them in a manageable 3rd down position.
Here's Jay Roberson. The give to Davis. Davis gets around 1 at the 30, still running at the 25, down to about the 21-yard line. Good 2nd and 3rd effort by Robert Davis. He fell forward the last 5 yards.
Sure was, sure did. And that puts them right where they need to be now. 3rd down and about 8 yards. They have just several plays they can pick that up with the pass. Several plays to Robert Davis. Even the fullback trap with Eric Moulton has the potential to gain that 1st down. And they're in a position now where if they don't pick up the full 8 yards, they can go for it on 4th.
They've got 3rd and 8. Here's Roberson. He fakes to Davis. He'll roll right. Will he keep it? No, he throws. Complete. Oh, what a magnificent catch. Was it Dwight Whalen? Dwight Whalen with a magnificent catch. Good grief, he was hit hard when he caught that ball.
All night long, Dwight Whalen has been in a duel of sorts with Maurice Jackson on that corner, blocking at Maurice on running plays. Maurice giving Dwight the equal. And on that play, Dwight Whalen got the best of Maurice Jackson, making a great play. Jackson still putting a big hit on him.
An 11-yard reception gives Homewood 1st down at the 10. Here's Davis looking for running room. Around left end, but caught from behind and pulled down right at the 10-yard line. Big play by Charlie Patricks for Blount. catching Robert Davis from behind. I'll tell you something, they've got speed. They've got size and they've got speed. What more could you want in a football team?
That time Patrick's doing a good job of playing off the block by Eric Moulton. Moulton, just the freshman. Patrick getting the better of it there, able to cut off Robert Davis and make a big play.
Jay Roberson rolls right, looks, throws, incomplete in the end zone. Intended for Alexander Adamson, but Zan had slipped down. Some wanted interference. Defending on the play was Sherman Williams and also Clarence Abrams. Abrams has been in on a lot of defensive secondary plays for them tonight.
Yes, he has. Severe pressure that time on Roberson, forcing him to release the ball possibly before he's ready, throwing it on the call it the wrong side of Adamson, forcing him to try and stop and come back. Right now, Blount not liking what they're seeing on this big third down play, deciding to take a timeout.
All right. Homewood had the play ready to go. Blount called timeout before they came to the line. The ball is just outside the 10-yard line, but there is no first down. It's third and goal from just outside the 10.
That Blount defense has been, well, this second half, Homewood has had the better of it, able to go down the field in 3 plays, and there could be a point in this fourth quarter, 10 minutes and 4 seconds to go, where this Blount defense, especially those big guys like number 62, Chris Jones,
290,
runs out of gas. Watching Chris walk over to the huddle on the timeout, he was walking as slowly as he could, not trying to expend any energy at all.
Well, I'm trying to see, too, if Damon Purifoy is back in the game, and I don't see him coming out of that huddle. He is their excellent defensive tackle, and also 290 pounds. All right, Homewood has the play. We'll set the stage for you. It's third and goal from just outside the 10-yard line. On the fake, Ryan Greer hit once, passing. Don't give up, boys. Don't give up. Greer out in front. Can he get around the blocker? No flags on that play. Blount turns an almost certain scoring opportunity for Homewood into a touchdown. A 100-yard return, a 99-yard return on the intercepted pass. The only thing good that could possibly come out of that is their guys are all out of breath. Well, no time to look down in the dumps. Still 9:44 remaining in this football game. 28-17. High pass from center, but the kick is good. 29-17 now. 29-17 from Pritchard Stadium. All right, time to get fired back up now.
What a turnaround, what a play, what a play. Brian Greer trying to get the ball to Adamson in the end zone. Adamson there for a moment, and the pressure on Greer just too great. Had to actually put the ball up for grabs. And unfortunately, Blount came down with it.
Well, I'm not going to armchair quarterback it. No. I'm not out there on the field.
No.
They gave it their best shot. Blount came away with the score. We've got nothing to be ashamed of. This has been a great season, and this game is a long way from being over. Homewood players encouraging each other as Blackman gets ready to kick it off. 3 deep backs, the ones we've had all season. Elvin Skipper, Brian Greer, and Robert Davis. Boy, wouldn't you like to take one now and move it back about 100 yards for a score? We'll just have an offensive slugfest here.
I would not be surprised if that did not happen. In a game like this, anything can happen. So much offense tonight, and the thing about it, both defenses are playing as well as you can ask a defense. They're hustling to the ball. They're just simply up against a couple of offenses that have just come together on this particular night and doing an outstanding job.
I'm not sure there's not a little delay of game going on right now with the Blount folks holding up on this kickoff here. At any rate, Blackman puts his foot in it. It's going to come down short to Tamer Savory. Savory at the 20. Returns to about the 25-yard line, maybe the 24-yard line. I'm sorry, I was reading the lines wrong. It's the 30. About the 29, actually. All right, time to go in business again now. 9:38. We ate up the clock that time, and they got the points.
That's right. That's right. Someone needs to step forward. Robert Davis, Jay Roberson, Brian Greer. They need a big play, much like they got in the third quarter when they moved the ball down the field in 3 plays.
Well, we need to take the Blount sidelines out of the game too. Their fans are enthused now and on their feet, asking for a big defensive effort. Sure looked like pass interference that time, but it was not to be. Excellent catch that time by Robert Davis coming out of the backfield.
Charlie Patrick's again on the defensive play for Blount. Charlie not fooled at all on that play. They were playing a zone roll to this side. Patrick had the zone, or the up zone. Robert Davis came into it, and he did not hesitate. He just went ahead and hit Robert Davis.
All right, here's second and a long 8 now. Homewood with the ball just over their own 30-yard line. Roberson will fake to Davis. Looks for a receiver. He has Dwight Whalen out at the 44 for another first down.
The cornerbacks for Blount, they're giving these receivers, Brian Greer, Alexander Adamson, Dwight Whalen, enough cushion to make those catches. Unfortunately, it's coming back.
Preliminary indication, 6 men on the line of scrimmage. That'll take it back to the 26 now. Clock starts again with 8:35 remaining in the game. Roberson on the give to Davis, coming outside around the left end. Davis at the 30 to the 35, the 40, and run out of bounds. First down yardage and more. Can't say enough about Robert Davis's ability to bring you right back into the thick of things.
That's right. Just one play away.
All right, the line of scrimmage is the 43 now. There's the fake to Davis. Jay wants to pass. He looks. Oh, just underthrown. That time Rebels was out there in the flats.
Roberson taking a shot after he released the ball that time, taking a little longer to get up than usual. Several of his players around him making sure he's all right and clear-headed. You sure don't want your quarterback foggy with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Homewood down by 12. They need big yardage. Here's Davis. He's going to give it to him. Davis at the 40, at the 30. Does he have one man at the 20? Yes. Yes. Oh, penalties now. 2 flags fly.
Piling on against Blount. Number 54 coming in after the play was over. Robert Davis on the ground, adding a little exclamation point to that run. Robert Davis appearing to tire somewhat, and after with close to 200 yards on the evening, he's entitled.
I think he's just frustrated that he couldn't get outside that last blocker, that last tackler. One step sideways and he's all the way in.
Well, giving credit to these Blount defensive backs on that play, Charlie Abrams was the last man between Robert Davis and the and the goal line, and he was simply playing Robert against the sideline, making Robert run to him. Robert on the sidelines now on his back, taking some air and taking a break.
Riebel's in at fullback. Tamer Sabry now is the tailback. Here's Roberson.
Yes, touchdown.
Touchdown, Homewood! That brings it back up. Jay Roberson just rolling left and deciding to keep, works his way, threads his way into the end zone. Brings it back now, 29-23 your score. West Steed on to attempt the extra point. A good shot there of Robert taking a little breather on the sideline, just taking some oxygen is all. Well, he deserves oxygen. He's got 246 yards on the night. There's the kick is up and good. 29-24, and we're back to that 5-point deficit. Man, I'll tell you, Fred, we got to just overcome. The defense got to be tough now. We got to come back and score. We can win the state championship with a touchdown if we can hold them this time.
Well, Homewood's defense really hasn't gotten that many call-on breaks. Blount hasn't laid the ball on the ground that often. They've thrown interceptions, but they haven't been in the part of the field where it would really hurt you. Homewood intercepted on their end of the field, and the mistakes that Blount has made, they've been able to overcome, like the fumble at the first of the game inside their own 20. They were able to overcome that, Homewood coming away with no points. Homewood needs to knuckle down and simply stop the Blount offense one time and make their defense play more than 3 downs and punt. The offense on Homewood has done a good job in this fourth quarter of containing the ball.
Yeah, you know, the story of the game really is, for Blount, is one long run, one long pass, and one long pass interception for 3 touchdowns, and Homewood's still only down by 5.
That's right.
West Steed will get it set up just exactly the way he wants it. Puts everything he has into it. Taken in at about the 13-yard line. Good tackle that time.
Chris Cowan,
there you go. Those Homewood jerseys are a little dirty at this point in the game. Hold on. All right, time for the defense to really go to work here after that 72-yard, 6-play drive for a score. Let's see if we can get tough. Here's Craig. He'll give on the misdirection play. Good stop, but only after about a gain of 5. I'll tell you, they take what looks like it's going to be a loss or no gain, and they turn it into 5 yards. They just keep spinning and rolling. They're an excellent running football team.
Well, it's just what Coach Thorson said. That time Dusty Smith drawing a bead, but not locking up. A spin, and the running backs away from him. Eric Riebel's coming over to finish off the runner. Dusty Smith there, possibly able to get him for no gain or a loss, and he simply spins out of it and gains 5 yards.
I'll tell you something, those big guys don't look too tired to me. 2nd and 5, the line of scrimmage now about the 33. Here's the give to the franchise. Sherman Williams out across the 35, but short of first down yardage. And that's critical. It'll bring up 3rd and about 2.5, 3rd and 3.
Possibly the biggest 3rd down in the entire season. If you stop them here, you force them to punt. We've seen their punting game. And then the decision is, Coach Gann has to make the decision, do we go after another one, or do we try to set up the run back? And do you want Robert Davis returning it as he's getting oxygen on the sideline, or do you save him for the offensive series to follow? A lot of things go into this football game.
Big 3rd down, needless to say. 3rd and about 3. Man in motion to the left. Penalty. Oh, that's going to be critical. Could be delay of game.
It's Piggly Wiggly Food Stores for quality foods, friendly service, and fair prices.
Time to stop them. Also time to take the Blount stands out of the game again. Well, there was a first down there, and I think we missed it on the tape change, but
hold on to him.
Now Sherman Williams caught from behind, still scrambling, but not down yet. Dusty Smith pursues. Good grief, he's persistent. Finally brought down by Lee Thompson. Elvin Skipper flipping him out. Sherman Williams is down. Let's hope he's not hurt. Yeah, he's laying down now, and I don't know, maybe it's just a cramp. We'll have to see. Skipper cut underneath him, and Lee Thompson finally finished him off, but good grief, he was in the grasp of 3 or 4 people before he finally was brought down.
He retreated, looks as though he retreated 6 to 7, maybe even 8 yards into his own backfield and able to get around the corner. Dusty Smith having an angle on him, but simply just could not catch up with Sherman Williams. Williams using outstanding speed to get around the corner. It's much like Robert Davis does.
Sherman Williams is up. Just catching his breath for a minute. What a hard game he's played all night tonight. And he's walking off a little unsteadily.
Looks as though he
took a hard head hit.
It looks as though he's walking gingerly on his left leg there.
I think he's just in a little bit of dreamland. Give him a good hand, ladies and gentlemen. You won't see a tougher tailback in the state of Alabama. Now he comes off under his own power.
And we can only hope he continues to go in that direction toward the sideline.
He's going to ask Coach Ben Harris, did he get the number of that truck out of Homewood that hit him? Williams goes off the field with 163 yards on 20 carries. Robert Davis has 242 yards on 26 carries for the night. What a magnificent performance. 2nd and 6. Here's the pitch back. Grab from behind is their number 38, the new tailback in the game. Ryan Williams, 34. Penalties, flags are flying. Let's keep you reminded now about the clock. 4:24 remaining in the football game. Homewood down by 5.
So they had 6 men on the line of scrimmage instead of the required 7 men.
Illegal procedure is the call, but decline. Brings up now 3rd and 10 for the Leopards.
Good move. To give them another play and penalize them would run more time off the clock. Homewood, if they stop them here, force them into a punting situation, and then the ball game is on the line. And it's back in Homewood's hands.
Blount calls timeout now. And that is the 3rd. Is that correct? That's the 3rd timeout for Blount. Homewood has its timeouts remaining. That could become significant as the clock most definitely a factor now. Homewood needing a 5-point makeup. 4:24 remaining in the game. Everybody taking a well-needed rest down on one knee now. You can't say enough, Fred Morris, about the guys on this Homewood team and the fine job they've done all year long. And I think of our guys across that offensive line that have come on so strong, because while Robert Davis gets the yardage and Jay Roberson throws the ball and some of the guys catch it, the guys who get down in a 3-point stance every time make that happen as well.
They sure do. And let's not forget about Brian Greer, who is an all-county selection as a defensive back. Of course, Robert Davis making that team. Jonathan Hamaker.
Jonathan Hamaker.
Number 1, Sherman Williams back in the game for Blount on this big 3rd down.
Big 3rd down, 3rd and 10. Damian Craig rolls right. Come up and cut him off. Well, over. Thank goodness he didn't catch it. Well, I don't know. I don't know what they'll do on 4th down, but tipped out of the arms of the intended receiver now brings up 4th and 10. Now the situation, Fred, that you mentioned earlier becomes a critical question. They don't have much of a snapper. Homewood has a couple of choices here. They attempt to block, or they're going to set up the wall for a return.
If you attempt the block and you miss it and rough the kicker, they have 4 more downs and another 2.5 minutes off the clock. If you set up the return, well, we already know the team speed for Blount is outstanding. So you may end up with even a decent punt or fielding the ball inside your own 15-yard line and not getting it past the 20. So is a tough decision for coaches.
Yeah, really tough, and I think it's a very wise timeout. Very wise timeout that we're taking here, and that gives everybody a chance to think about it. It also gives us a chance to catch our breath.
Back to what you were talking about, these players that have been doing doing an outstanding job all season long. Before the game started, as we were setting our equipment up, someone mentioned that it's hard to believe we've been doing this for 4 months.
Sylacauga on a warm, sultry, early September night was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Much like the way we are now in December, standing on the top row of a stadium, calling the plays, as Homewood again in that game, if you'll remember, they won 14-13 with a big defensive stand, an outstanding offensive play, and here we are again, a big defensive stand, and the offensive series about to come through again.
We've come full circle. The Blount punter is a good 16, 17 yards off the ball. We're going to try a block, but it's a long way back. High pass from center. They come. He gets it away. Robert Davis will let it go. Fair catch called for, and the ball rolls dead at the 12-yard line. 12-yard line. Homewood now with 4:06 remaining to set it up and take it in.
Plenty of time, and give those guys credit. They were all around Alonzo Johnson as he punted that ball, but not a person laid a hand on him. Didn't even get close, but they were still close to blocking the punt.
You can't afford that kind of penalty at this stage of the game. A 34-yard punt by Alonzo Thomas sets Homewood in business. The line of scrimmage is the 12. Here's Robert Davis straight ahead. Oh, what a vicious block by Rebels leading him through. Eric Rebels now playing in the fullback slot. Purifoy back in the game. Second and about 7 now. Homewood's got to make it happen on this offensive series. 3:40, 3:39. The clock is running. Roberson will pass. Oh, my goodness. Intercepted for a touchdown. Well, nobody feels worse about it than Jay Roberson. I'm sure he's just upset with himself. Blount now sensing that they've got enough of a lead with 3:28 remaining. Blackman on the extra point. Up and good. 3:28 remaining in the football game. Timeout on the field. The score is Blount. Is the 36 correct? They didn't put up an extra one. 36-24 over Homewood. Yeah, I thought it would be 37. It was, well, no, that's right. It was 29-24. It's now 36-24. I just missed it. They put it up early.
Well, if you're Coach Gann, you might have to do your most outstanding coaching probably of your career at this point. 3 minutes, 28 seconds to go with a Robert Davis who could go the distance, or Brian Greer who could catch Alexander Adamson. All these guys are flyers, and they can get you 6 points in the bat of an eye. The thing he has to do is keep this team directed that way. The game is far from over because Homewood will still get the ball back, and with onside kicks and with the type of offense Homewood has, good thing. You have to expect good things.
Here's Blackman to kick. Puts his toe in it. It's going to be a short one. They'll go down out of bounds. They'll move it back 5 yards. The clock doesn't move. 3:28 remaining.
Now, as you said before, we try not to be armchair quarterbacks, but with the strategy that appears Blount's using, kicking to the short men, it would appear that they could change Brian Greer and Kevin Miller. Make that Michael Walden, the upback on this side, and possibly give Blount some problems as they appear to be trying to kick to the short men.
It may just be that Steve Blackman can't kick it much further than that. But if that's the case, your point's well taken.
Yeah.
Davis now stands on his own 7. Greer is up to about the 17. And Blackman will kick again from his own 35. This time he kicks it across the field. They come down to Sabry. No, it was Dwight Whalen. I'm sorry.
As you watch that kickoff, you see how badly Robert Davis wants the ball. He ran 15 to 20 yards just to get in the position even to be near the ball. And, of course, they teach the upbacks to catch the ball if it's coming to them. Don't let it hit. And Dwight not aware that Robert was standing right behind him.
Okay, 1st and 10 now from the 31. Roberson will pass to Greer. He fakes, but thrown down behind. Oh, that's a big defensive play. That's a big defensive play. That's Fenice Sharp with the first sack on Jay Roberson for the year. Or for the game.
The first sack of Roberson. He could not have come at a better time.
Fenice Sharp, number 5.
Fenice Sharp. He's been in the backfield most of the evening, but they've had him in check. That time he just makes a big play.
2:35 remaining. Here's the give to Davis. Davis right up the gut. Still moving at the 32-33. Gets all the lost yardage back and some more. Still going to bring up 3rd and 7 now. Maybe 3rd and 8. The critical 3rd down now. Homewood's got to have it. Big strike plays. The pass is complete to Dwight Whalen. No, Zan Adamson. Zan has it at the 43-yard line, and the chains will move. Homewood stops with 2:05 remaining.
Homewood going without a huddle. They have Robert Davis in the slot to this side, using some of that speed. Blount has an extra defensive back in to cover.
Fakes, pump short, will pass. Caught at the 50-yard line by Brian Greer. The clock runs. We need the second timeout here. Here's Roberson to pass again, looking long. He hit Zan Adamson in and out of the arms of Zan. They'll call it incomplete down at about the 42-yard line. That stops the clock with 1:37.
You sure hate to see that. On the previous play, the referee stood over the ball for 7 seconds before they put it in play with everyone on the line of scrimmage. They wanting to make everything perfect, making sure everything is set. Unfortunately, allowing 7 seconds to run off.
Here's the give to Davis. Davis will go right up the pipe, right up the middle. He tripped and fell at the 40-yard line, falling forward to about the 38. First down yardage stops the clock with 1:31. The chains move. Homewood is set in position. Just as soon as the clock starts, they want to snap it.
Blount now with seven secondary people. Linebackers and cornerbacks playing a 7 deep.
Roberson wants to pass. Pressured again by number 5 and thrown down. Fenice Sharp with the second big quarterback sack of this drive. Now they call timeout with 1:12 remaining. Second and about 21.
Bad position to be in. Blount playing 7 secondary people. Fenice Sharp simply blowing through there. The 4 linemen just teeing off and going after Jay Roberson. No point in even trying a play-action fake because it's not going to fool anyone. And that time, Fenice Sharp again with, I believe, his second or third sack of this quarter, actually of this last 4 minutes of the game.
Well, what a great season it's been, Fred. And for the guys who will graduate and go on, they can always talk about playing in the state championship. Some will go on and play football after high school, I'm sure. As far as I'm concerned, I'm looking forward to next year with an outstanding junior class that becomes seniors next year, and I'm looking forward to doing this again.
Well, even you start with the freshman class moving right on up. A lot of guys have got the experience now to come back into these playoffs.
All right, second and long. Roberson wants to pass, pressured, caught from behind and thrown down. He'll lose another 8 or 9 yards. They've just got so many people defending against the pass, it's very, very difficult for Jay to get anything off.
Well, they're just playing with 7 people in the secondary, playing so many zones that no matter what you do, there's somebody standing either in the pass pattern or right with your receiver. Roberson having a tough time.
Michael Andrzejewski on a completion that time up at about the 42, but the clock runs 35-34. Whistle now blows. Homewood wants a timeout to stop that clock with 32 seconds remaining.
Fourth down and looks to be 16 yards.
Well, I'll tell you something. They've got nothing to hang their heads about. They've put on a great performance tonight. A fine, outstanding offensive football game. And I'll tell you something. It's been a pleasure to watch 2 tailbacks of the caliber of Sherman Williams and Robert Davis. And I know Blount is beating us, but I'm glad to see Sherman Williams came back into the game and was not hurt seriously. He's got a great career ahead of him.
He sure does. Sherman Williams, one of the outstanding running backs that will graduate this year in Alabama. A lot of people project him as a Division I prospect. A lot of people talking about his potential.
You know, even though they're behind, Homewood still within excess of 413 yards on the night so far. There's a completion to Greer, but not near enough for the first down. So Blount will take over on downs. 24 seconds remain on the clock, and that's going to just about turn out the lights. On this, the 1990-91 season of the Homewood Patriot football team. They've done a good job, though, and I'll just bet you that Coach Gann and Coach Thorson will tell them that.
Well, they've played hard all season long and won some games that maybe they shouldn't. Last week is a classic example. A lot of people would have given them up for dead last week.
Oh, no question about it.
But coming back the way they did actually got them to this championship game as the clock
Blount
runs down.
will pour onto the field as the clock counts down. 3, 2, 1. Blount is your state champion, and Homewood comes away with a fine season. Nothing to hang our heads about. The final score from Pritchard Stadium in Pritchard, Alabama, Blount High School 36 and Homewood 24. It's been our pleasure to bring you these broadcasts of the Homewood football action this year. We started in Sylacauga in September, and we finished up just outside of Mobile in the middle of December. Fred Morris, it's been my pleasure to work with you this season, my friend.
Barry, I've enjoyed it.
We'll look forward to doing this again next year.
Next season.
Reminder that Jack Munger and Dave Ropoff are part of our broadcast crew, and usually we have along with us Wes Gray and Tommy King. We also would be remiss if we didn't recognize Danny Callies and the fine work that Danny did on the sidelines for us, and Mike Whitten as our spotter in the stands. So we'll wrap it up. I'm sorry.
And of course, all of the guys that are on the field that have gotten us to this point, one thing you have to remember, they've gotten to the state championship game, and some people may say, well, they didn't win it. But you got to remember the 14 other games that they went through to get here to this championship games, the 13 other victories that got them to this point, instead of just the 2 games that they didn't come out on top in. Those are quite big accomplishments for these guys.
Well, they are indeed. Homewood gets ready to pile on a bunch of buses and head back to the north. And so we'll say so long from Pritchard Stadium with, again, the final score, 36-24. You've been watching Homewood Patriot football.
Since 1925, the Ministry of Dawson Memorial Baptist